Hello, beautiful souls, all you starseeds and light workers out there. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. Today I want to talk with you about Blu-rays. We're going back into our series, Meet the Cosmos. And Blu-rays are one of those, they're one of my favorite energies. Like whenever they come up in readings, it's so like such a high vibrational feeling, almost like angelic or an ascended master, that feeling of like real oneness and like being so connected to the all. And it really is such like an old wise soul that would have a lifetime like that. So I don't know if anybody watching this resonates with Blu-ray beings, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about that kind of an incarnation today. Okay, so we're going to jump into Blu-ray beings. Just before we do, I want to remind you to like this video, share this video, and comment. Post your video requests in the comments as well. I always love getting them. I always screenshot them. I save them, and I'm chipping away at all the requests that I have. And this definitely was a request that came through for the Meet the Cosmos. Now I've got lots of Meet the Cosmos requests that I'm working through, so please know if you made a request that I have it somewhere and that I'm slowly working through them all. And please feel free also to request the same thing again, because the more times I see it, the more it's going to like stick up here and jog my memory, and I'll feel like it's something that people really want. So please continue to do that. And I also just want to make a quick announcement just before we jump in that I've got a couple of things going on in my world. A great place to keep up to date with me is Instagram, especially in my stories. If you're not following me on Instagram, there's like, especially when you're watching my stories, I give lots of behind the scenes about my sessions, my world, what my work is like. So it's a really fun place to be. And I'm also always talking about what kinds of things are going on, what events I'm hosting, and different things that are happening. So keep that in mind. I want to always kind of give a shout out to my membership group. It is such an amazing place to be a part of a starseed community and to continue to grow and ascend. And we do 3 events a month. So we usually do some kind of like powerful astral journey. We actually just did one. Oh my God, it was so specific and spontaneous. Like it was so unexpected. We did this astral journey to the new earth because what people call the new earth or 5D earth or ascended earth, it does already exist. In fact, multiple versions of it already exist. And then it's really because everything is already in existence, because time is just everything is in the now moment. So it's really just about aligning to that, aligning Earth and the collective of humanity to that reality so that it becomes our reality. And so there were multiple versions I saw of the new Earth, and the one that we are currently so connected to, like the one that looks like it's going to be the one that Earth grows into, was so different than I thought it was going to be. And so if you are wanting to do like events like that, find out more about New Earth, go on astral journeys to different constellations, galaxies, star nations. We've been to Andromeda, Venus, we've been to Lyra, we've been to Orion, we've been to New Earth, we've been to Saturn, we've been to Mars. Like, I don't even know like where we haven't been. We've been to so many places. So come and join us over there. I also do group readings, which are like highly like favorites. Like they are so popular is the word I was looking for. Highly popular, a huge group favorite in the membership. Like everyone turns up when it's a group reading, But the astral events are amazing. The healings, I do a lot of healings, group healings. I do a lot of group activations, integrations. Like, it's just so important to do this work on the journey that we're on. Like, it's a place where you would be refueled, like to fill your cup up again as you go out into this world. This version of Earth that we're in can be very draining. And so it's really important to understand how community can refill you, and how working with me can, if you're a starseed, how working with me can really help you to align to your highest self path and keep bringing you back into alignment every time we get together with my frequency. So 3 events a week, or no, that would be a lot. 3 events a month over there in the membership group. It is a lot though. It's like, we usually hit the first 3 weeks every month, and then there's like a month for integration where we're just catching up on things because everything's recorded. So you can go into the resources section, and there's over 100 videos. I think we're closing in on maybe even up to 150 resources of events that I've recorded that you can go and do, like, oh my God, like past life regressions. We're doing Blu-rays today in this video. We actually did a healing with the Blu-rays, which was like really, really beautiful. It's all just there waiting for you. When you join, you get complete access, and then you also get to join in the live events that are happening every month. So just check out the links in the description of this video. It is such a like, it's really truly my favorite place on the internet, and it's something that I love, that is a part of my world. And it's a way that I get to be accessible to a lot of people that maybe, if you don't feel ready to like join a course yet, or even do a one-on-one session with me yet, then this is like a little smaller step into a world with me in a community vibe group setting. And we have an app now, right? We're totally off of social media and Facebook and all of that. And I have my own special space on the internet, and you can actually access it through a mobile app, which makes things so easy. So there's no reason not to join the membership. Come on over. You are so welcome. All right, let's jump into today's video. I've got some notes here, so you'll see me looking down a little bit about Blu-rays. I kind of gathered up my notes that I've made kind of over the years about Blu-rays and added some new things in, and I'm going to share that with you. And of course, I'm always open to new things coming through on the spot. I set up a sacred space before filming this right now, which is super important. If I'm planning on doing any channeling at all, I always do clean and ethical channeling. That's what I teach to my students. So that means setting up a sacred space where I am the pure channel and no outside forces can come in, including my own ego or ideas, where it's just purely coming through from source and higher dimensions. Okay, so let's jump into Blu-rays. All right, so I'm just going to start right away. So if you are feeling resonant with Blu-rays, I hope that this can confirm for you maybe some of the things that you've been feeling or how it might be showing up in your life, okay? So Blu-rays are non-physical, and they move like the northern lights. Whenever I see a Blu-ray in a reading for somebody, it looks like the northern lights, literally, like shimmering in movement across the sky. And even in those same kinds of colors, I see a lot of blues and greens, and white. And it's just like, it's like the way that they move across the sky. I mean, they're obviously non-physical beings, right? Like they are beings of light and energy and frequency. And they're in one place, but also in many places. And they have the feeling of, to me, almost like I always say, like they're super high vibrational, you know, like angelic or ascended master. But honestly, like now that I'm thinking about it, it actually feels a bit like that oversoul frequency, where they are kind of like in many places at once, yet they're in one place. And they are like all joined together as one larger being, but also individuals, if that makes sense, kind of like an oversoul. So it's not a singular physical being. It's a non-physical spirit or light being, and they can join together with other Blu-rays into a larger being, like a larger divine being, almost like that oversoul, or they can be separate light entities. When they join together as like an oversoul vibe, they still retain their individual self in a way, but it actually is almost like a hive mind, but in like the best way. I don't mean that in a negative way, like almost like a hive mind mentality where they can work as one larger godlike being to, you know, and we'll talk about the work that they do, and they can be of service in doing that, but they're still in there. Okay. Like each individual being is still in there. So yes, the colors that they emit are like the northern lights, blues and greens, but I've also seen like dark purples to pinks as they're waving. So it really does depend on the specific soul, because what they are, the version of them, the visual of them is actually what I would call a soul signature. So if you're a non-physical being, right, and you're just a being of light and frequency, then the colors that you emit would be like your soul signature. What is a soul signature? So every single soul has its own color. It has its own sound, like tone. It has its own feeling. It has its own frequency. We are all like snowflakes where no two are the same. And that's what a soul signature is. So your soul, if you were outside of your, like if you go to astral travel and you leave your body, or if you're not in a lifetime, not in a physical lifetime, you're just the pure soul in the in-between, like when we're in between lives and we're doing like our soul contracts and lots of healing and stuff like that. When you are just the pure soul, you have a specific color that nobody else has. Like it's yours, and it's like so unique. And it also is kind of in movement like that, kind of like the Northern Lights. And you have your own very specific frequency, your own very specific feeling, like telepathically. It's almost like a tone, a sound, a feeling, an emotion. It's all your soul signature. So blue rays are kind of just projecting that or emitting that in the being that they are. So it's an extremely high vibrational lifetime where they are connected to the all that is, while also experiencing, like, it's like they live in a state of bliss where they are experiencing the truth of oneness and being everything at once. So it reminds me of Source in a way. They're connected to the all that is. They're connected to all of the energies, all of the universe. Yet they have this individual singular intelligence. It's like being, again, it's like being an individual yet being connected to the all. So very, very enlightened, very ascended. So the community of blue ray beings, where they all kind of are, is telepathically, all of the different blue ray beings are telepathically connected and energetically connected so that they are sharing at all times. So it's kind of like, again, almost like that hive mind or pack mind where they are individuals yet a part of a larger group, which creates this larger being. And they can join together to be that larger being, or they can also be the separate individual soul, kind of like Source, exactly like that. So like we are all Source, yet Source is one being. When it's one large being, yet it's made up of all these individual souls. Does that make sense? So blue rays are energetic healers. They are frequency balancers. So that's the kind of work that they do in the cosmos, is they are really helping to bring back balance to any area that has, experienced some kind of energetic distortion. And they do that with their oneness frequency, with a lot of peace, with a lot of unconditional love, with a lot of, like, it feels like bliss, like it feels like calm, peaceful, unconditional love, feels like a gentle, like moving wave of peace, love, joy, bliss. And they have the ability to, this is really interesting, like when they gather themselves together, right? So if I was looking at an individual blue ray, it would look like a strip almost of like these northern lights kind of moving in the sky. When they join together, it's like a large grouping of these different colors. And when they do that, they can create portals by joining together in that way. And the reason that they would be able to create doorways in the universe, or portals, is so that they can either enter through or send their frequency and their healing through. So they can do that for anywhere in the universe. And so they don't actually have to travel the cosmos to affect the cosmos, because they join together and create these like amazing portals in, space and time or in the universe. And then they send that powerful oneness frequency through that portal, and they can like almost like bless areas with that. So it's like, it's very divine work that they do, and it's very community based. It's very about like coming together. It's very much about oneness. So these are all like, lessons that you would learn in a blue ray lifetime. You would learn how to work with a larger group of souls. You would learn how to like hold your own and be an individual, yet also be a part of the group. It's like the utmost like level of cooperation and working together. So they exist from what I have. Now, I'm not saying they don't exist in more than one place, because I kind of feel like that they do. But where I always pick up that they exist for me, where I'm connecting to, is in Lepus, which is a constellation south, like right below Orion. Now that I'm saying that out loud, I'm getting this knowingness that they kind of exist almost like beyond space and time, though. So what I mean by that is almost like quantum physics or string theory, where you can like pop in and out of existence in different places. Yet I do feel like they have been in Lepus and returned to Lepus a lot. And because of that, there's a lot of connection and communication that happens between them and the Orion's belt. There is a really powerful portal in Orion, in the like the nebula of Orion, which is also just below that middle star, I think, of the belt. And I do feel like it is a portal, that nebula. I've talked about it before in here. It's such a powerful place of like stars being born, because like nebulas are the nurseries of the universe, so stars are born there. Even souls can be born through nebulas, but it also feels very much like almost like a portal where things can be like born into it, and that is like a portal, like being born through it. So there is a connection then also between blue rays and blue avians. So if you've ever maybe felt resonant with both of those, that might be why. It's almost like, here's an example to try to explain something that's very hard to explain. It's almost like the blue ray being the non-physical version is the ascended version of a blue avian. Very much like, here's the example, very much like horses and unicorns, if that makes sense. Like horses have so many versions of themselves, right? I would consider that like a unicorn spirit though. So here in 3D Earth, we know what a horse is like. And then as they get higher in their ascended version of themselves, they turn into these incredible unicorns. Then they turn into crystalline unicorns. Then they turn into like etheric or light beings that are unicorns. So they keep stepping up their frequency. And as they go higher and higher, it gets less and less physical, less and less dense. I feel like the blue avians are like, maybe the spirit of a blue avian here on Earth would be like, I mean, maybe it would be like a peacock being or something like that. I know that we also can carry that within us, the blue ray DNA, because that can be a part of your starseed origins and a part of your soul. But there's got to be like a version of them that is actually avian, like a bird. And then as they ascend, they become these blue avian beings that are humanoid, very, very high vibrational. But then they go even higher and they probably get crystalline to this place of being non-physical and this etheric being of light, which would be the blue ray. So the blue avians and the blue rays are connected in that they are like on the same ascension path. And when they're in this blue ray non-physical state, it's not about being male or female because they're non-physical. So that doesn't really apply. They hold both the divine feminine and the divine masculine frequency. And as a shifting light being, there's no need to specify a gender or a form. It's more about the soul energy, which really shines through and creates all of those beautiful, vibrant colors. And again, that's the soul signature on display. So blue ray souls, they fuel each other. They're very, very connected as a community. They fuel each other and they empower one another. They're constantly being recharged and able to live in that true state of bliss. And so these non-physical lifetimes as a blue ray being is all about energetic, emotional, and frequency, the aspects, because there's no physical senses or even needs that they would need to fulfill. They don't have physical needs. They are these beautiful etheric light beings. I'm just turning the page here in my notes. So if you had a blue ray incarnation, and again, what incarnation means is a lifetime with a beginning and an end. Okay, so some people get really confused about that and they don't understand that, if you have an angelic lifetime, that's not the pure soul. That's not you as a pure soul. That's still you signing up with soul contracts, being born in, like how they do that with like an angel, born in as maybe like an orb of light, whatever a baby angel maybe looks like. Maybe they're born in and they're fully like adult looking and ready to go, but angels too don't really have physical forms. It's just how they show themselves to us. But the point of this is just that angels, lifetimes as an angel, lifetime as a blue ray, lifetime as anything, it is an incarnation. It has a beginning and it has an end. It has a span of time Okay, so it's not the pure soul that you are. So you're still playing a character, if that makes sense. So right now you're playing a character as the human that you are. You are not the pure soul. Your pure soul is inside the physical body. Well, when you are a non-physical incarnation, you're still, the soul is still within that, but it's still you playing a character, having a start and an end date to that lifetime. And then the real you is in between lifetimes. And in between lifetimes, you're just the pure soul. And that's when you would go to the in-between place, or some people might call that heaven, where you go and you receive your life review, great healing, you plan for the next lifetime, you get your soul contracts in order. That's you, the pure you, the real you. And then you having lifetimes and incarnations is you learning lessons and you being of service and you also receiving. It's always a give and a take in every incarnation. You're never just giving, giving, giving. That would be very imbalanced. It's always, what are you giving? And that's how you're being of service. And then what are you receiving through lessons and growth? Okay, so Blu-rays are no different. They have a lifespan. So the lifespan of a Blu-ray is very, very long, though. It could even be up to thousands of years. But it would go by like the blink of an eye because you're living in a state of bliss. And so it wouldn't feel as long as if you were in a physical incarnation with these needs that you need to fulfill, you know, eating and sleeping and all of the roller coaster of emotions and stuff like that. That can make it feel like a journey. Whereas a Blu-ray being in, even if it was thousands of years, in that state of bliss, it would feel like a blink of an eye. The soul lessons that are learned in a lifetime like this would obviously be about cooperation, working together with other souls, working in community. It would be a lot about oneness, understanding what oneness is, and being able to connect to other places in the universe, in the dimensions, and being able to see what was out of balance and being able to send that thing. So like for oneness, you would send the opposite, right? So they would be dealing in opposites in a way. So if they were connecting to a place that was a place of like Earth, maybe like a place of like a lot of fear, then they would send the opposite to bring balance. So they would send a lot of peace, right? Tons and tons of peace. You know, if they were, you know, connecting to a place that was a place that had an over amount of ego and like egoic energy and really like almost being lost or losing your true self to identity, then they would send a lot of the frequency of that pure soul frequency of we are all one, oneness. You are the eternal soul. You are not this character that you're playing. If it was a place of anger, they would send, you know, love. They would just be dealing in opposites, and they would be sending that always to these different places around the galaxy. And so your soul lessons would be about learning how to do that, and then you would really understand frequency, and you would really understand energy, and really understand what oneness was. And you would also be learning lessons about finding balance between giving and receiving. Because I feel like in a Blu-ray life, there's so much giving that they do that they also, and that comes very natural to, you know, divine beings that are very angelic. They're always giving, giving, giving. So they have to also learn lessons about receiving, much like we are learning here on Earth. Lessons about holding their own balance, right? So that they're not draining themselves. And the receiving that would be happening in that lifetime would be from the community because they are so connected and because they are continually recharging each other. So that would be like, yeah, just such a beautiful lesson around community and allowing people to help you, and like the power of the community and the whole like that. And you'd also just be learning about oneness and all things balance, like all things balance. And I do feel like souls in these lifetimes also learn about like letting go. Like here, it's really hard for us to understand because we are so specifically physical. But as a Blu-ray lifetime, you would not have an identity to really connect to. You wouldn't be male or female. You wouldn't have even like a name. Like I don't really feel like they specifically, I think that their name would be more of a feeling, like that soul signature, not necessarily like having identities like your age, your name, your gender, your, you know, like your physical appearance, any of that. And so the lessons also would be about who are you really within, and really just like like living beyond identity. So lots of oneness frequency, like really. So how would you know if you're a Blu-ray being here on Earth? Well, you would resonate with a lot of what I just said. You would also feel like there's this feeling of being able to see beyond your identity and seeing the version of you that's the human, almost like that character that you're playing. That's like an very enlightened viewpoint where you can, I mean, you still want to be in the life and going through it so that you get the human experience, but there's always a part of yourself, this like other zoomed out perspective piece of your consciousness way back here that's like, I know I'm playing a character right now. I know that I am not actually locked in to, being a human woman with this name and age. Not like I'm so much more than that. And you would naturally understand oneness, and you would also naturally like heal with your frequency. So that would mean that in your aura, you would, if you traveled, if you met up with a group of people or in your workplace or whatever, you would naturally find yourself bringing balance to that place by always kind of like, obviously bringing peace and love, but there's more to it than that. You would also deal in opposites. And so it's like it's a hard thing to kind of describe what that means, but like if you were dealing in opposites, then it would help people to always see the other side of the coin. So if everybody was like, what's a good example? Like if we used politics, so say everybody in your workplace was all this one like belief structure, maybe they were really religious or maybe they were really political and they all were heavy on this end of the spectrum, then you would probably be that person that's always trying to say, yeah, but there's some truth over here too. Like always trying to create balance in the way that your perspective works. You're always trying to help people see the other side of the coin. Does that make sense? So Blu-ray is always kind of that, it's beyond a peacekeeper mediator vibe, which is the mantis vibe. It's more of the, yeah, but look over here and see what this is like over here. Having the ability to like understand and feel what the other side is feeling. Even if you don't agree with it, you could always be like, yeah, but I get what they're saying. Yeah, but I understand their point of view. I can see how they arrived at that place. Do you know? So yeah, so Blu-rays, it's creating balance and peace and oneness and wholeness through bringing what's missing, bringing in that opposite, bringing in that missing piece. And so if you're doing that in conversations, or if you're just doing that in frequency, or if you feel like that's really important to always bring that to the table, then that could definitely be a sign of the Blu-ray. If you understand, if you feel very telepathic, where you are extremely clairsentient, you're able to really read people and read a space, and telepathic with your whole body, then that would also be like a Blu-ray vibe. If you feel like a very old soul, if you resonate with like something about the Northern Lights, just making you feel awe, giving you like chills. If you resonate with blue avians, that's also a sign. Let me just see if there's anything else that wants to come through for you around this. Like just so that you can identify it in your own self. What I just was shown was also if you find it easy to connect to other places, like they can in an instant connect with any planet, any dimension, any realm, and send help. So do you find yourself doing that? If you hear of a place in the world that is suffering, can you just be like, oh, I'm connecting to it. I'm sending them so much love. I'm sending them so, like the ultimate distance healer. You know what I mean? Like sending it like to other parts of like across the whole world or across the universe. And you just really feel like it's so natural and easy for you. And you also have this knowing that it's done when it's done. Like I did it, I connected, I sent it, it worked. Really, really powerful healers. Distance healers, quantum healers would be this Blu-ray vibe. Okay, so I've met a few. I do also resonate with this energy, and I've also met a few people that I feel that from, like I really do. And it's just very wise. Like it's just very wise and old soul, and they just carry everything within. They have a piece of everything to create the oneness. They're not afraid to deal in It's not all love and light. They're not afraid to understand that there's a place for shadows. There's a place for pain. There's a place for this soul work. They understand oneness, right? That everything is needed to create true peace and true balance. So I would love, love, love to hear if you're resonating, and if you feel like you're a Blu-ray being, let me know how this resonates, or let me know in the comments, like, what makes you feel like you are connected to the Blu-rays? You know, like, what is it? Is it a quality? Is it a feeling? Is it a vision? What is it for you? And that will help us all. Everyone has a piece of the puzzle. It will help us all to understand this energy even better. So this is definitely just such a beautiful kind of being, a beautiful energy, a beautiful soul frequency, even though I do feel that they are very connected to Lepus, Lepus, I think is how it's spelled. I think that's how it's said, Lepus, south of the Orion constellation or whatever. I do feel, like I said, that they also kind of like can be, just because they are in all places at once, it's quantum, right? It's like they don't have a one spot where they are, though I connect to that spot because maybe for me, that's where I experienced this Blu-ray energy, because I have a very strong connection to Orion. And in an Orion lifetime, I had a father that was blue avian, so I was half that. And then my mother was this like peacock being, so I was kind of like one of each half of that. That could also be why I resonate so strongly with it being in Lepus. But I truly feel like Blu-rays are like in a lot of places. And I never really felt that before, just getting on video and saying that. I've always just said, oh, they're from Lepus or whatever. And now I'm like, wait a minute. No, they're beyond space and time. That's just where I connect. But I really feel like they would kind of hover around or live around a lot of nebulas, because they feel like the energy of a nebula in a way, like that portal energy. So I don't know, so many mysteries in this universe, but I hope that some of this was able to bring some clarity for you. Of course, it's just like a very basic, barely touching the energy of it, but it's such a deep thing to understand a higher dimensional being. And so to even have this amount of energy, of information, is such a blessing. So I'm going to leave this here so this video isn't too long, but I really hope that you enjoyed. I'd love to continue going on this series of Meet the Cosmos. I don't really know what I want to do next, so drop your requests, and I always just kind of like feel it out when I go to film. But anyway, if you're still here at the end of the video, thank you so much. Please remember to like, share, and comment. Subscribe for new videos every Sunday. Join the membership. Head to the link and check out everything that we are doing. It is so, so fun over there. And then before you go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you, beautiful star seeds. Have a great day. Bye.